What's up, fight fans? This is Kirk DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Devin Haney, Jojo Diaz. And this is the recap and fight study. Now, Devin Haney came out with the jab, measuring the jab a lot of times. Good thing. I'm glad the ref, referee Mora, which was the same ref that refereed Wilder Fury 3, didn't mention that, okay? But he was sticking him with that jab. He had, a 3 or 4 inch reach on him, and he used it. Devin Haney used the jab. Devin Haney's a pure boxer. He has good counterpunching ability, and I think that pretty much won him the fight. Jojo, he was a southpaw, of course, so he had his guard up. He had the winky right style guard up most of the time. So a lot of the punches were really grazing and they didn't really hit flush, okay? Rounds 1, 2, 3, easy for Devin Haney, I think. But in the third round, Diaz did pick it up a bit. He started going to the body, started shooting that straight left down to the body. And I think that got Devin Haney's attention, but Devin Haney still was able to do what he did. Rounds 5, 6, and 7. The 7th round I would give to Diaz because Diaz pressed the issue. He landed a good left, I would say left hook coming from the back foot. In his case, it would be an overhand left. And he caught Devin Haney right in the chin. And Devin Haney smiled. I think that definitely got his attention. It definitely stunned him because you've seen a little smile from Devin Haney after that. And I would give that round to him definitely. Well, rounds 8, 9, 10, they were competitive, but still Haney, okay? Now, rounds 11 and 12, I would give the last round to Jojo, believe it or not, because I think he tried to rally. He tried to close the show and close the distance of the fight, but he didn't have enough rounds in the bag, unfortunately. He was just picked off from a distance. It kind of reminded me of how Teofimo Lopez fought Vasil Lomachenko the first 5 to 6 rounds they fought, okay? Because, it was just from inactivity because Joe Diaz didn't really want to leave himself open, which was smart because Devin Haney would have picked him apart. Now, the scorecards, it was unanimous. Dave Moretti and Max DeLuca, both 117, 111. Tim Cheatham, 116 to 112, all for Haney. What does this mean for Haney? As far as excitement goes, nothing. Did he get the win? Did he win convincingly? Sure he did. But a lot of people criticize Devin Haney because Devin Haney fights a lot like Floyd. Floyd, in his last of his fighting years, people hated to see him fight because people wanted knockouts. People wanted excitement. People wanted blood and guts. They wanted him to get hit. They wanted him to get challenged. Well, if you stick to your game plan, you hit a person without that person hitting you. That's the sport of boxing. So if you're in it for any other reason, you should go somewhere else. See, a lot of times when these guys go back and forth, yes, it looks exciting, but also those two guys that you're watching that is entertaining us, they are taking punishment. Well, Devin Haney, even though he has flaws in his defense, he gets hit a lot less than he puts out. Okay. So because of that, and he doesn't have huge punching power. A lot of people give him flack, and then plus Jojo Diaz only had one loss, and that's to Gary Russell Jr., one of the fastest men on the planet, mind you. So I wouldn't give him too much flack, but does that entice anybody to really want to fight Devin Haney? Not really, because he's that good. He's trained well, but he doesn't really give you what people expect. A lot of people did it. A lot of should I say spectators or criticizers did it to Roy Jones. They did it to Floyd Mayweather. They did it to Bernard Hopkins. Okay. These guys were dominant in their, especially Roy. They hated Roy because Roy was so dominant. Now, is he more dominant than Floyd or Roy? No, he's not, because you can see he clearly took punches that I don't think he should have took. And this is what I think about. Would that age Floyd Mayweather, that pretty boy Floyd, would he get hit with shots like that? No. Has he got hit with shots like that? Yes. But I always look at Devin Haney and I'm like, okay, he would not beat a pretty boy Floyd. Same style and everything, but he just wouldn't beat him. Talented guy, and I think a lot of people don't want or can't fathom the idea of getting beat by Devin Haney, because that's exactly what will happen. Okay, he will stick back. He will use his jab. He will punch between the guard in times. He will rack up points. He will win round after round after round. He will stick to the game plan. But then, is that something that everyone likes to see? No, because people expect something different out of the sport of boxing. Now, was it the most exciting fight? No, they're not. Did I enjoy the Jorge Linares fight? Yes, I did. Jorge rocked him, a bit, but he still won. Okay, so he's a winner. He knows how to win fights, so I think the worst thing you could do is criticize Devin Haney. Oh, well, he's not exciting or this, that, and the other, because remember, they did the same thing to Floyd. They did the same thing to Roy. These guys just come in there and get the job done. Now, the question you ask yourself is, could he do that to Kambosos? Could he do that to Teofimo Lopez? Could he do that to Ryan Garcia? Well, that remains to be seen. But those fights need to happen, regardless of what people feel about how exciting he is. Can you beat the motherfucker? That's the question. Can you beat him? Because if anything, Devin Haney is that guy that may beat last one of those guys, and they know it. That's why those fights are not getting made. You've seen Oscar De La Hoya there. You've seen Eddie Hearn, of course, he was there. Oscar De La Hoya promotes Jojo Diaz, so he was there. So, and it's one of those things that those guys will attack the idea, or they will attack with this. Oh, well, he's just not exciting. I don't want to put him in there with Ryan Garcia. See, Ryan Garcia needs to up the ante. Fighting Cool Hand Luke ain't enough. Especially when Devin Haney beat the guy that beat Cool Hand Luke. So, it's like, it was a good fight. But I do question, I do have some critiquing to do on Devin Haney. He does need to tighten the defense, because when you don't have that punching power as an equalizer, you have to be 100% solid on your defensive game, because if he was in there with someone like Teofimo or Ryan Garcia, that might crack a little harder than Jojo Diaz, because Jojo doesn't have punching power either. So he could take those punches and take it with a smile. But you let someone that can crack like Jorge Linares, right? He may be in some trouble. So those are the type of things you think about when you're dealing with Devin Haney. Yes, he needs to work on his defense. You have to be flawless when you are lacking in other areas, And I mean other areas, I mean the power category, okay? He can't just 1, 2, 3 and put a guy down to the canvas. Now, has he knocked people out? Of course he has. But if you notice, when the competition is elevated, these knockouts don't occur, okay? So, but at least he has the win. I don't see what else people could expect from him. I hope George Kambosos considers that fight in Australia. That would be a great fight to happen because of the styles. And we'll see how those guys match up in the upcoming future. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Devin Haney beating Jojo Diaz unanimously. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.